Welcome to Don Davis Real Estate Show. It's your host, Don Davis of Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, brokered by EXP. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And upon that rock, He built this church. And upon that rock, we've built our business, and our results are a reflection of our character. It's your host, Don Davis of Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, coming live from 6161 Savoy, sunny South Houston, Texas, on this October the 13th, 2019, where we're going to share with you another successful week in the Houston residential real estate market, where we have tons of stories and scenarios and testimonials to share with you. But we wanted to always begin our show with a testimonial or what we learned from Lakewood Church. You know, we attend Lakewood Church, and what we learned from Pastor Joel today is you're not who people say you are. You are who God says you are, and that's very important. And from time to time, we tend to get down on ourselves and think that we get low self-esteem, and things like that happen for one situation or another. But you always have to remember you're put on this earth to fulfill your purpose. And in order to fulfill your purpose, you got to remember you are who God says you are, not who everybody else says you are. So who I am then, is I'm a real estate reverend. I call myself a real estate reverend simply for the fact that I feel like I am called to help people to learn to buy, sell, or invest in residential real estate property, or also to help people learn how to transition from their 1099 income or W-2 income into a real estate career. And that's a very shaky transition, especially when you're used to getting paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly for years and years and years. Then all of a sudden the transition to 100% commission type business, it can be kind of scary. So if you need help in coaching through that transition, I am your guy, the real estate Reverend Don Davis of Don Davis Luxury Realty Group. When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind it's a Don deal. Also in the background, you can see on the banner behind us, you see That's My Dog. That's My Dog is one of our affiliates that we love to promote. They're actually having Soul Food Sunday in Katy. So if you look up That's My Dog restaurant today, you can go over there right after the show and enjoy Soul Food Sunday. As for the manager, Kevin, he will take great care of you at That's My Dog off of 529 and 99, just off the Grand Parkway. So once again, we have a lot of things we'd like to share with you, especially the fact that we've had several clients. I mean, the phone didn't stop ringing this week, and that's what we want. We want to always be helping people transition into or out of homes at all times. And some of those properties were unique properties. For instance, the one in Tomball, 4-acre property, equestrian property where you can actually have horses. It was a tough sell. You know, it's very few people looking for that type of product that's actually in the city limits. So we found a buyer for that property, and that is a great success story. Our average time to sell a property is about 34 days. We were able to get that one sold, and looks like about 32 days. So we definitely want to kind of let everybody know that if you do have a property that has no restrictions and some uniqueness to it, don't run to it because there are buyers out there for that property. They say beauty's in the eye of the beholder, so there's a property out there for everyone, and we want to let you know that we are open to helping people with that. But also on the teaching aspect, on the training aspect of this show this week, I want to touch on the fact that pencil and paper is a form of a weapon, and I think I touched on this a few months back, but a quarterly update on this is very important. I was raised in a very rough area in South Texas, and in that area, we were always taught that weapons were how you control people. Weapons were how you maintain society. You used a weapon. But what I really learned to find out as I got older, that the true weapon is pen and paper. The pen and paper is what they use, Congress uses to enforce laws. The pen and paper is what they use to write up bills and things like that, to enforce taxes. The pen and paper are the real true weapons of every society. So we have to realize that the bullet, the concealed handgun, is the aftermath. That's not the initial weapon. The initial weapon is pen and paper. And when you're doing a real estate transaction, you must be very, very, very familiar with pen and paper in the wording that goes into that agreement. Some people use the agreement for evil. Some people use the agreements for good. You have police officers and you have bank robbers that use handguns. Well, police officers use handguns to make sure society is safe. Bank robbers use handguns for their own good. The same thing happens with some real estate agents. Some real estate agents use contracts, pen and paper for their own good. Some people use it to protect the public from unscrupulous brokers. So you want to realize that you have to have an agent that has a great testimonials and at the same time has your best interest in mind at all times. An example of your best interest in mind is I had a client this week. They could have bought a new home, and if they would have bought the new home, the builder was offering additional $5,000 bonus if they would have bought that home. But I just knew that property wasn't right for this client. This client needed some privacy. He did not need a front neighbor or a neighbor behind him. He, if anything, needed an acre if he could afford it. But since we had to go ahead and get in a subdivision, he needed the property with some more privacy. So what we were able to do is find him a home with no neighbors in the front, no neighbors in the back, only 3 years old. Now, people say, well, Don, you walked away from an additional $5,000 that the builder would have paid you just to get that client what he wanted. Yes, because you have to have a fiduciary obligation to get your client the best deal possible to fulfill their needs. The $5,000 will come. I tell everybody, if you pay it forward, they're going to refer you people and that money will come. So I'm not traditionally worried about the incentive. My incentive is to have another happy client. And that's very important when you're dealing with a real estate agent who's going to use pen and paper to protect you, not to hurt you. Also wanted to talk on the 24 items of the contract in which the agent must use the items to help you, not to hurt you. The first item on a residential contract, on a 1 to 4 family residential contract, is the parties. You got to make sure that you have the right parties involved on that contract. A lot of times nowadays, there's a lot of wholesaling and assigning going on, and that means you're buying the property from a third party, so you're already losing equity. If you're buying a property from a party that's not on the tax records, that's not on a deed, 9 times out of 10, you're not paying the true price for that property. So the first thing the agent needs to do on your behalf is to make sure you're buying the property from the person that's registered on the deed. If they're buying the property from the middleman, you're wasting money and you're overpaying. The next thing is to make sure you have the correct property address. The property address is, people say, Don, how can that go wrong? I'll give you an example. A guy was buying a lot in a subdivision where there was 3 vacant lots. Well, he bought the lot, he closed, and he began building the home. He did not pay attention to his survey, and by the time he got 75% through with his home, he realized he built on the wrong lot. So that neighbor pretty much got all of the construction and all of the improvements for free. Yeah, that neighbor didn't have to pay anything. If anything, he could have sued him for building on his land without permission. So you want to make sure you have the right property address. That way you don't have any issues when it comes to the survey and the tax records and the fences and the easements. Anything you're paying for, you want to get exactly what you're paying for. And that's the importance of getting a survey. Also, the sales price. The sales price is calculated by what you own. So if that footprint doesn't fill in that into that survey, then you want to make sure you adjust your price. A lot of times we're paying for the land by the foot and for the square footage by the price per square foot. So if you want to make sure you're getting the right cost of the land and the improvement, you definitely want to make sure your survey and your comparable market analysis is correct as well. So that's just a taste of what we're going to be touching on today. We're going to go ahead and head to the first break. Once again, it's Don Davis of Don Davis Luxury Realty Group. Love where you work, love where you live. DDLRG, love's going to get you. I am Don Davis of DDLRG Luxury International Real Estate, and when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind, it's a Don deal.
You want to excel, Don Davis is a great guy to work for. I mean, he's a great teacher and a great leader.
He's more than family. He's the guy that's actually helping me roll. I didn't know anybody when I moved out here. He's the guy rolling his sleeves up saying, come on, let's go move what you got to move.
When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a Don deal. We're back. Don Davis of Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, broker by EXP. Love's going to get you. Love where you live, love what you do, and always go by your name. Go by the name God gave you, not what people call you. Matter of fact, do even better. Find some people that call you good things. But there's nothing more important than to surround yourself with good people that believe in you, believe in taking your business to the next level, believe in taking your purpose to the next level. And that's what we're all about here at DDLRG, broker by EXP. We were just talking about the fact that the pen and paper is one of the the strongest weapons in history. People have used pen and paper to sentence people to life in prison. I was just watching something the other day about a gentleman is about to be he's getting a death penalty. He got out of backstrap for something he didn't even do, and that's all done by pen and paper. So keep in mind, pen and paper can do you good. Pen and paper can do you harm. But what we like to teach is how to help this pen and paper do you harm, and that's by protecting you. The real estate. The Texas Real Estate Commission was created to protect the public from unscrupulous brokers. That means somebody who's not paying attention to the details, somebody who's not looking out for you on your behalf. So we're all about the pen and paper, even though everything is electric signature nowadays. As a matter of fact, be careful with that electric signature also. The news did a study just to see what people would do. So they emailed like 100 people electric document, and everybody just docu-signed it. And those 100 people, 95 of them said they would give their firstborn away. They just signed it. They didn't realize they didn't read the whole contract. So even though I'm a firm believer in DocuSign, please take the time to read DocuSign from a desktop or a tablet before you sign your kid's life away. Understand that I think it was KPRC or somebody like that who did a survey where they emailed 100 contracts out, and 95 of them actually signed their kid away. So if you're going to use DocuSign, definitely make sure you review it. But it all goes back to what's in writing. When you say, Don, why you keep talking about pen and paper? I'm saying what's in writing. Is your agent doing what's best for you, and are they putting that in writing? I tell you what, if they're not putting it in writing, it doesn't count. You can text message me. You can tell me everything verbally. We got a verbal offer. Oh, whippy. Guess what? Verbal offer means nothing to me. I need to see a proof of funds. I need to see estimated closing date. I need to see option money. I need to see a copy of the earnest money contract. I need to see things in writing so I know I have a hard deal. And in order to do that, you need to make sure you work with somebody who is experienced in making sure you get transactions done. I tell everybody, if you want to really check people out, go to the HAR reviews, but also you can go to Zillow reviews to see how many houses they've sold and things like that. And that gives you a firm idea of how much experience they have in getting deals done. So we left off at the survey and the importance of having a survey on a property. And that survey is not a review type survey. That's a survey which is a footprint of the property to let you know exactly what you're buying. Then also the importance of having a title policy. That way, if there are any existing liens on that particular property, they are insured from previous lawsuits through the title policy that you get from a third party. Now, keep in mind, some people will say, we don't have to close at a title company. Anytime they say that, run. You definitely want to make sure you do close at a title company so you have some protection if they do not clearly own that property, what we call free and clear. So all these things can be found in the residential 1 to 4 family contract. Also, you can also attend Champion School of Real Estate. I do have some clients who actually like the real estate transaction so much, they also go ahead and go to Champion School of Real Estate. Even if they don't practice right away, they go ahead and get their real estate license in case they have any questions. And then we actually pay them a referral fee. Yes, I have a client right now. I have realtors who use me to help them buy homes. Yeah, realtors who I currently have a client shopping in Sugar Land with a licensed real estate agent, but he's also an engineer. So he does not do real estate full time. So for his primary residential needs, he contacted me to help him find a great deal. And we are in the process of negotiating a great deal for him just off of Highway 6 in the Fort Bend Austin High School district. So it's definitely very important for you to have some knowledge of real estate. I tell everybody, a lot of people say you should get your driver's license as soon as you turn 16. I say you should get your real estate license as soon as you turn 18. That way, you're always going to need somewhere to live. You're always going to have to find out if you're getting a good price for the property you're living in. So why not get a real estate license to have that experience? Also, when you're reviewing those contracts, make sure there's nothing in special provisions. Special provisions is a place where you get some sellers or some buyers who try to negotiate more than what's in the contract. And by the way, all these contracts are prepared by attorneys. So if an attorney did not prepare a form for it, 9 times out of 10, it should not be put in special provisions. We do not usually recommend people to put things in special provisions. So as an agent, as a client, as a buyer, you definitely want to check special provisions to make sure that there's no additional hidden agendas there. Paragraph 12 is another hot topic. That's seller concessions. Seller concessions is where, hey, we understand that you want us to buy this property, but we feel like we're overpaying for the property. We're not actually overpaying, but we're going to go ahead and get some help with the closing costs. That way we can come out of pocket with a little bit less, what we call cash to closure, CTC. Well, we're going to go ahead and ask for up to 4% on FHA loan, up to 6% on VA loan. And we're going to go ahead and ask for some seller concessions to make sure that we have some room there. It's all types of ways these agents can negotiate for you, but you got to have an experienced agent on your behalf. As a matter of fact, speaking of that, Sunday paper today, it talks about designations. Your real estate agent needs to read that real estate section of the Sunday paper every week. It's very important that your agent has some designations. If you don't have a designation, you should be working on one already. As a real estate agent, you should be working on a CRS, Certified Marketing Professional, MRP, Military Relocation Professional, Certified Luxury Home Marketing Specialist, some type of designation to help take your business to the next level. Like I say, just getting the license is just the beginning. Now it's time to start taking what we call your major courses. When you go to regular college, they say, hey, you take your basics. Guess what? Your real estate license is your basic. Now it's time to focus on your major. So if you're going to major in luxury homes, go ahead and take the Certified Luxury Home Marketing Specialist. Go ahead and take the Accredited Luxury Home Counseling Specialist. Go ahead and take a major course to complement your basic so you can practice in that field. The real estate agents that really do the best are the ones that go on for continuing education, but not only continuing education, but the ones who have a good sense of moral character, who have built their business on the word, like I say, because when it's all said and done, it's all about what you do for others. And as long as you take care of other people, then they'll take care of you. We're going to go ahead and head to our next break. Keep in mind, love where you live, love what you do. This is Don Davis of Don Davis Luxury Realty Group. Love's going to get you. I am Don Davis of DDLRG Luxury International Real Estate, and when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind, it's a Don deal.
DDLRG is for all family groups, whether it's singles, married couples, or families. They specialize, however, in the higher-end upscale properties, but they can handle all borrowers.
We want to create raving fans.
When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a Don deal. Love's gonna get you. Love's gonna get you. Back on the show, Don Davis Real Estate Show, Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, brokered by EXP. When it's time to make a business decision about your residence. We took a lot of time in coming up with that, by the way. Don't take that one for granted. When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, we don't really like to play around when it comes to real estate, because it is something that we take very seriously. So when you know it's time to make a business decision, for example, let me give you an example of business decisions. When you say, hey, man, I live in this apartment complex and my car has gotten broken into 3 times. Trying to make a business decision. When you say, hey, man, I'm stuck on I-45 again and I'm making this hour commute 5 days a week, it's time to make a business decision. When you find out, hey, my wife is pregnant and we're in a 1-bedroom and this house is just too small, this apartment's too small, it's time to make a business decision. When you say, hey, man, it's just me and my wife now and all our kids went to college and we have a 4,000 square foot home, it's time to make a business decision. So we have well thought out the process and who we want to help with. I select what we call target market. And it's people who are what we call motivated buyers or sellers. If you're not motivated, even though I love to hang out with you and teach you all about the real estate business, if you're not motivated, you're just not the client for us. We're looking for motivated clients who are ready to make a business decision about their residence. And keep in mind, at that point, it's a Don deal. And what that means to you is we're going to sell your house for the highest amount in the quickest period of time. And at the same time, hopefully, you won't have to pay any taxes on it, because if you lived in the property 2 out of the last 5 years, you avoid capital gains as a primary resident investment property. People say, Don, do you flip houses? Do you this? Do you that? No, I like to tell people to focus on primary residential investment properties where you get to capitalize on the gain without making any payment to the IRS on the profit. And that's very important. Also, I'm all about building from the ground up. I've used to talk about renovating. Hey, go in, gut the property, this, that, and the other. But you'd be surprised how much money you can make if you buy a piece of raw land and start building on it, and you don't have to demo. Yeah, I know all about demos, sledgehammers, walls, video cameras, making everything look cool. But be surprised if that property is already just raw land and you build on it, then you're making money. Speaking of raw land and people building on it, the best investment of real estate 9 times out of 10 must be new construction. That's why you see subdivisions popping up everywhere. That's why you see farms turning into subdivisions and master plan communities, because there's an opportunity for growth there. And that's really where the market is right now. As a matter of fact, that's a seller's market right now. Between 150,000 and 250,000, that's a seller's market. So what that means to you as a home buyer, if you're a first-time home buyer, you cannot negotiate as strong, but you can get some incentives from the lenders. So the lenders, some lenders right now are offering 2.9, depending on your credit score on FHA and VA. Some lenders are also offering no money down on certain products, like the T-Shack and the USDA loan and VA loan. So you got to have a good lender. I know we work with Prosperity Bank from time to time. They have a HOP program where you can hop into home ownership with zero down, and at the same time buy a home up to $250,000. So that definitely is a seller's market right now for the first time home buyers. The builders are really loving it. At the same time, I feel like it's a good sweet spot and a good fit for buyers, because a lot of these luxury apartment complexes are charging close to $1,700 a month for a 2-bedroom. As a matter of fact, the zip code that I'm focusing on right now, we do temporary marketing projects called EDDM, direct mail marketing, where there's a 1% return. So there's 2,500 apartments in this particular zip code I'm targeting. 2,500 apartments. Average rent in those apartments is $1,700 a month. So you have over 2,500 people who should be owning a home. They just haven't been enlightened on the process. And now they're paying off somebody else's apartment complex. And at the same time, they've been told they're living luxurious. But 9 times out of 10, if you have a neighbor on top of you and a neighbor below you, I just can't call that luxury living. So keep in mind, you definitely want to get out of an apartment. You want to come to one of our first time home buyer workshops and love where you live, DDLRG. We're going to go ahead and go to one more break, and we're going to come back, hit you with a few listings. Don Davis Luxury Realty Group. I am Don Davis of DDLRG Luxury International Real Estate, and when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind, it's a Don deal.
I thought that Don Davis was honest and fair. He made us feel like family.
He was very communicative and very informative.
He just helped me to make it very easy, pointed me in the right directions, and gave me a lot of information about what to look out, for.
When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a Don deal. All right, we're back. We're back for the final minute of the Don Davis Real Estate Show. Thank you for tuning in. Again, we got 1 minute left. In that last minute, we always have to give love to our sellers by promoting their properties on our show. Another reason to list with Don Davis Luxury Realty Group. First of all, I want to make y'all aware of a property we have, brand new construction home for lease at 14111 Willie Melton in Kendleton, Texas. We're only asking $1,250 a month at 14111 Willie Melton. 3-bedroom home, never lived in, for lease. Give me a call today. We can make it happen. ViewAllHoustonHomes.com for the website. Then also we want to let you know about a property we have on Fountain View right around the corner from here. It's going for $141. The next property we have, 5925 Alameda, it's going for $215. Holder Rights under contract. Bobbitt's under contract. 1603 Mustang Crossing, Mo City, 279.9. Love's going to get you. Love where you live. That's the end of this. DDLRG. See you next week.
Do business with the best in the industry. Do business with the Davis Realty. Do business with the best in the industry.